What is up, Ohio State Buckeyes fans? It's your old friend IndyCar Tim here with the Ohio State Buckeyes Daily Blitz. Welcome into the show. Welcome into the network here on FanStream Sports. Check us out at fanstreamsports.com, the FanStream Sports mobile app, FanStream Sports TV, our YouTube channel. Appreciate you very much popping on in here a little bit to discuss Ohio State's 8th consecutive win over the Penn State Nittany Lions, or as they are quickly becoming known to for Ohio State, the little brother. I know that's used to be reserved for the Aggies and the Texas Longhorns, but I kind of feel like we're steering in that direction with with Penn State and Ohio State. It's supposed to be a rivalry. Not sure that Ohio State really considers it much of a rivalry anymore. Maybe you let me know what you guys think at IndyCar Tim on Threads and on the X, or can just leave me a comment about any part of the show here. Ohio State, Penn State, whichever one you rooted for, here in the comments section under the video on our YouTube channel. Sorry, my face is a little itchy today. I got some allergies I'm dealing with. But you know what? All in all, I thought a pretty good showing. Will Howard, a couple of touchdowns. He had a little push there from Penn State late, I thought. But, you know, in the end, Will Howard, by the way, who always tries to get up for Penn State, he was very excited about this game because he wanted to play for Penn State, and Penn State didn't think he was good enough. And there was a time they were probably right. But he's grown a little bit. And now he's with the Buckeyes, and he just beat the third-ranked Nittany Lions 20-13 on Saturday. The game that ended with a late goal line defensive stand, just followed by the Ohio State offense and Will Howard draining the clock with a drive that made up in physicality what it lacked in precision. We'll put it that way. Wasn't the prettiest. As a matter of fact, after the game, Will Howard said that they just willed themselves to the win. Of course, he grew up in the Philadelphia suburbs, waiting for a scholarship offer from Penn State that never came. So, yeah, he's a little bit bitter. But revenge was sweet. It might have also been a little bit sloppy here. Howard threw a pick six on his first pass to put Ohio State in an early 10-point hole and later fumbled before crossing the goal line to cost the Buckeyes another score. He atoned for throwing for 182 yards and touchdowns to Egbuka and Inus. Howard added another 24 yards on the ground, the last 7 of those coming on an option that sealed the game, and led a not insignificant portion of the largest crowd in Beaver Stadium history to send Penn State coach James Franklin into the tunnel under a chorus of boos. But not before he had some little exchange with a fan. And we've had a run on this, I think, recently, haven't we? With coaches kind of getting into it with fans. I've seen it now here with Franklin at Penn State. We saw it with Nick Sirianni, and maybe it's a Pennsylvania thing. Nick Sirianni with the Eagles chirping at fans before their win, last week, a couple weeks ago? I don't remember when it was. But I mean, coaches have to understand you're going to get booed when your team's not playing well. And the Nittany Lions were not playing well against a rival on Saturday. He said after the game, Franklin did, he said, "I own it all." He's now 1-10 against the Buckeyes, who, as I mentioned, sort of treating Penn State more like a little brother than a rival, but that's okay. That's okay. Things will turn around here. It'll become a rivalry again one day, Penn State fans. Not sure when. The Nittany Lions saw their hopes of reaching the Big Ten championship take a serious hit. And while it remains on relatively solid ground for the 12-team college football playoff, Penn State missed a chance to give its CFP resume some much-needed polish. Penn State had the ball deep in Ohio State territory late in the first half when Buckeyes defensive back out-wrestled a Nittany Lions wide receiver for the pass from Drew Aller to end the scoring drive. But I had some thoughts about that play. And that's one of those things where it's just whoever wants it most, right? I mean, we see that not all the time, but we see it sometimes when a defensive player wrestles the ball away from an offensive player. And in a game like this, in a rivalry game, we see it more often, I think, than we do in other games. But or when team's just significantly better than the other team, I think we see that. But tight end Tyler Warren for the Nittany Lions, really, I thought showed something. He might have been the best player on the field as the Nittany Lions drove to the Ohio State 3 midway through the fourth quarter. 3 runs up the middle by Allen, gained all of 2 yards. On fourth down, Drew Aller, who fought while playing with a bad left knee, he threw an incomplete pass to Dinkins, as I have in my notes here. And Penn State never got the ball back after that. Ohio State ran it 11 straight times. An offensive line that was smarting after a dismal performance in a lethargic win over Nebraska last time out. I'd say they showed up against the Nittany Lions and did everything they wanted to along the offensive line. Offensive tackle Donovan Jackson said after the game, "That was fun. As an offensive lineman, those are the drives you dream of, just running the ball and just winning the game for your team," end quote. So the end looked an awful lot like so many of the meetings between the Big Ten superpowers over the past 3 decades. The players on the sideline for the Buckeyes and Nittany Lions changed. The coordinators changed. The stakes when the Big Ten superpowers meet do not change. Neither do the results. Divisions or no divisions, Columbus or Happy Valley, Ohio State figures it out in the end while Penn State walks away with more questions than answers. That was certainly the case here this week. Aller threw for 146 yards and ran for 31 more, but Penn State's new-look offense under first-year coordinator consistently saw drives bogged down in Ohio State territory. Warren combined for 94 yards, exactly 47 rushing and 47 receiving. But he did not get a touch during those 4 failed shots from in close in the final moments, something that the coaching staff will have to explain for sure this week. Aller wanted to go to Warren on fourth down, but the Buckeyes took Warren out of the play, symbolic of one program that always seems to be one step ahead of the other. While Penn State players believe their college football playoff chances remain high, another chance to change the narrative during Franklin's successful, if not spectacular, tenure disappeared early in the November sunshine. So this version of the Buckeyes might not be the offensive juggernaut that we have seen before, but Ohio State still has Penn State's number. It's still a physical brand of football that we expect from Ohio State, and it certainly could translate well as we roll here looking at the postseason. For Penn State, Warren certainly needs some help from the other skill position players. Wide receivers caught 3 passes for 49 yards, and that is it. So Ohio State's got Purdue at Ohio Stadium next Saturday. Penn State will host Washington next Saturday. We will preview the Ohio State and Purdue game coming up here this week and talk a little bit more about Ohio State over Purdue over Penn State for the 8th straight time, boys and girls. Again, make sure you check out FanStreamSports.com, FanStream Sports mobile app available for iOS and Android. And like I mentioned, we will come back this week, preview Purdue, maybe talk a little bit more about Penn State. But yes, I'd love to hear what you guys think at IndyCar Tim on Threads on X. Let's discuss it. Till next time, boys and girls, we'll see you.